Alan has discovered frozen beer in Spain.
Wow.
Oh, you mean like beer slushy, basically?
Well, apparently their whole thing for the hot weather is to pre-pour your pint glass of beer, but stick it in a big freezer. So when you actually order it, it's like an ice cube.
Wow. Okay.
But it slowly, obviously, sort of melts as it gets room temperature. But it still remains. And rather than just having like a warm pint at the end, you've got a cold pint all the way through.
Oh, they like melt at different rates, like the water will melt before.
I don't know, Phil. I'm not an expert in Spanish science.
Well,
sorry, hang on a minute. Hang on. What is Spanish science, and why does it differ from actual science?
Because it's Spanish.
I'm just going to make sure that is like the cut at the end of the show, just like Cameron going, I'm not an expert in Spanish science. And that's it. No context.
Is Alan here?
I see he's online. But he's on
online.
His phone,
he's online, yeah.
He's online. He's online his phone, though, which is worrying.
Is he looking for some headphones again?
At least he's doing that before he calls in.
Probably.
Donde está los headphonos?
Lost headphones.
That's what we're saying right now.
Spanish science.
Spanish.
Hello.
Hola.
Oh, no.
Mi name is Johnny Alonso.
We're not doing this.
Hello, Cedro. The hydrogen peroxide.
Hello, Al.
I'm having out technical difficulties.
Again.
I always do.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Big Archer.
We're just watching Flair's last match and a gift from RoboCop, so don't mind us.
We're all fine.
Right. That's fine. Give me a few seconds. I will join you. I'll put you on mute. Hang on.
All right.
No worries.
On El Muto.
No. Stop.
El bonito de brillo de magnesium.
Welcome to the Conquistabores. It's the spookiest time of the year, which means it's time for Halloween Havoc 1994. Standing warily in the ring as the cage lowers from the ceiling, Bunkhouse Phil Doyle, Colonel Ewan Taylor, the Mouth of the South Cameron Phillips, and Hot Sauce Geordie Allen Milburn. Only tonight on the Conquistabores.
At least we're like Sting. Sting doesn't have to fucking wrestle.
No, he just jumps off things now.
Yeah, but it's cool when Sting does, but it's not as if you're like...
That was so good at that pay-per-view, but it's like he's up to the
amazing Forbidden Door.
And then it's like, oh no, he's just on top of the flipping entranceway. Oh, he's just jumped off. What the hell?
He's amazing.
Why not?
Yeah,
and they did the nipple thing as well. They did the nipple thing, and he's like, what are you doing?
Here's the thing, though. Sting doesn't even need to say anything. Just his presence alone is enough.
Yeah. I mean, what? He's been in AEW for, approaching 2 years now?
He's not just a thing,
yeah.
No, he speaks in promos.
He only speaks when it's absolutely necessary. But the rest of the time, he's almost like Darby Allin's silent partner.
I'll probably throw it out there that I think, if you're talking about the use of legacy wrestlers, I don't think AEW is the best it's ever been.
Correct.
Yes.
With the way they use those old guys.
You've got Sting being Darby Allin's dad. You've got Mark Henry just having a meme catchprise on Rampage every week that I still laugh at. He's so happy when he says it.
It's just with a big smile going, it's time for the main event.
The crowd does it along with him. It's just tremendous.
It's like, but the way they use him, like, it's never like derogatory towards those people. Like, a lot of WWE was these old people. It was like, it was really rough.
Yeah, it was not good.
Or they bring him in to beat up Heath Slater and they walk out again, sort of thing. Whereas, like, it's just like, look how they're using Sting. It's brilliant.
I'm just going to say this right now. William Regal is the best color commentator in history. And not just for the trip.
Yeah. I always look forward to Regal coming down for Blackpool Combat Club matches.
Trout Slapper has entered the lexicon of this house quite firmly now.
Great.
Well, I just look at him and go, "You trout slapper."
I do love how he comes in, he says hello to Tony Schiavone, there he goes, "Oh, hello, Excalibur, you look delicious." It's like, I love you, you're just the best.
Is he still calling him Man in a Mask?
Yeah, yes. Man in a Mask.
Good evening, Man in a Mask.
So good.
What do you call Taz? He's just called Tasmaniac or something. I can't really call Taz.
He calls him Tasmaniac, yes. Jericho he's always got no time for obvious reasons.
That's what we call a trout slapper.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
I apologise, Mr. Maniac, Man in the Mask, if I'm not quite on form tonight, but I'm rather upsetting. In fact, I'm vexed that I'm not looking at you with a bald head, you trout slapper.
Is Al back?
I don't know.
I fell asleep.
Fuck me. Are you all right, Al?
I am. Yeah, I don't know. I thought we were doing WCW. I don't know what's going on.
We're talking about Ric Flair's last match.
All right, then. Well, surely that would be better to discuss at the end when it's relevant. No.
Oh, wow. You're in the mood today. I like it.
Oof.
Well, on that note...
Didn't even know he was in the call. Waiting for him to show up, and he's now asleep.
He was in the call, but I said he was away because he had technical difficulties. I didn't know he was back.
I've been back. I've just been listening for hours and hours.
You fucking creep.
Mr. Fibbles is very hungry. I'm sure you got that reference. Right.
That's another one for a bonus clip. Just saying.
Get that clipped.
So, this is a classic wrestling podcast, by the way, folks, in case you don't know.
Episode 49.
Classic
Conquistabores.
What we're doing for episode 69, that's what I want to know.
Oh, nice.
That's when the OnlyFans launches. Anyway.
So, our watch back, well, unintentional watch back of shows set in the Joe Louis Arena continues this month.
Well, was this one not chosen kind of on purpose because it was on the Joe Louis Arena?
I believe so.
Yeah, to the theme. So it was unintentional initially, and now it's become very much intentional.
I can't think of any other reason I would choose it, so yeah.
I mean...
We'll come to it, but I think there's lots of reasons why you'd pick this one out, being brutally honest.
Well, to be fair, you know, yes.
We'll come to my thoughts towards the end, I think, but... What even are we doing? What are we here talking on the microphones to each other for God's sake?
We are here talking about WCW Halloween Havoc 1994, October 23rd, 1994, from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan, with an apparent attendance of 14,000.
There was never room for either of us. The professional wrestling world isn't big enough for both of us. They say I'm the dirtiest player in the game. I'm gonna tear Ric Flair, brother. Swim from the gate. We'll be immortal and we'll live forever. Halloween Havoc is on the air! Live from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, jam-packed to the rafters as the two greatest superstars professional wrestling has ever known and ever will know. Put it all on the line tonight. Hi, everyone. It's Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and me, Gene Okerlund. And gentlemen, this is the night on October 23rd, 1994 that we've all been waiting for.
And this was Al's pick?
This was Al's pick.
Was indeed.
So, apart from it being the Joe Louis Arena, Al, why did you pick the show?
It was at the Joe Louis Arena.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
So, the tagline.
So, are you leading us through this?
I can lead you any way you like.
Oh my!
Over there.
It's kind of an unwritten law that the person who chose the show kind of gets to lead the show when we're doing it.
It's true.
God.
I mean, I can start with the tagline for the show. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
So the tagline for the show was "Witness the terrifying rage in the cage." On my notes, I wrote, "Looking at the card and the fact Mr. T is a special guest referee, I kind of agree."
Well, yeah, we'll get to that later on in the evening. Aye, that's your main event this evening, which is obviously upcoming.
I pity the fool who bought this pay-per-view.
Well, yes. My first note here we have Heenan, Schiavone, and Mean Gene on commentary. But why would you make your national anthem so hard to sing?
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare.
I forgot to do. I was going to Google the guy who sung it. Does anyone know what he's doing?
I don't care, but he should have been shot.
T. Graham Brown was his name. He was a country music artist of the 80s and 90s.
Well, that explains a lot.
Didn't recognize a single song, and I would gladly have just. Cause at first, I was like, "Is this like one of the grips? Like one of the lighting guys? They just kind of put a shirt on and just made sing." But no, apparently he was like an actual recording guy.
When you see, I don't quite understand why it's Halloween Havoc. So should he not have sung something better? Like, you know,
well, see,
he did the mash. He did the monster mash. They caught on in the flash. You know.
I literally wrote, Tony asks the fans to rise for the national anthem. What in the fuck is this nonsense? Patriotism at Halloween. Didn't catch the singer's name, but I'd give them a solid -5.
Can you imagine the actually thermonuclear heat that you would get from the entire arena having to stand for the national anthem? And then whoever it was going, he did the mash. He did the monster mash. He did the mash. It was a graveyard smash.
They really should have done it on the 30th of October. Should they not? That's a lot closer to Halloween than the 23rd of October.
Well, I think it'll once again depend on when you can book the arenas for.
I'm sure there's a Halloween Havoc years to come. That's on something like the 14th of October.
That sounds
I'm going to research that. You talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, it's kind of like having SummerSlam in like the beginning of August. It's just wrong.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
You know,
I was want to make sure, like the opening promo, did the audio sound really bad for everybody?
Yes, it sounded like
it does.
I don't know what. I think they were trying to be like edgy or something, but it just sounded awful.
Is it not one of those pay-per-views on the network that appears with that warning about saying how this is the best reproduction of it we can get?
I did not see that, to be fair.
I think it's one of those.
See that. But I was like, I started playing it, I was like on my phone, and I was like, is my phone messed up? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to like restart on the TV. It's like, no, it is actually just like they just made it intentionally sound really, really bad. Good job, guys.
Yep, pretty much.
WCW.
Was it ever explained why Keenan was wearing a neck brace? Because I did not know.
No.
I think he had legitimate surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say, was this not around about the time that Heenan had neck surgery legit?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he had to.
I thought it was like an angle.
But you know what Phil's first impression of the pay-per-view arena was? They got a big tick.
Go on.
There's only one ring.
Hey, it's WCW with a single ring.
We did it.
Like, right, we're on to a winner. Let's go, guys. Let's see what's going on.
It's promising already.
Single ring, shitty pyro to start the show.
So, are you wanting to lead us, Al, or do you want anyone else to do it?
No, you can do it. I'll join in. That's fine.
Right, okay.
I'll just look stuff up. I was wrong about that. I thought there was a lot earlier Halloween Havoc, but there's not. I think the 29th is the closest we've ever got to Halloween. I mean, there's always the 20-something. I thought there was one in the teens, but no, the 20-something is...
You'd be relying on the 31st falling on a weekend, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I could have sworn there was one early on, but I was wrong. I was wrong on it. Yeah, they're all about the 20-somethings. Actually, ironically, I think the closest one was the 29th of October, and that was the final one, or the final WCW one.
Yeah. Okay.
Just don't forget, they brought it back, didn't they?
They've NXT of it as a show now, yeah.
Yeah.
As they do seem to rip off a lot of the old WCW pay-per-view names.
Why must they farm them out to NXT, especially this new NXT?
I'll take it, but it'd be all right.
I don't know.
There was one a while ago that wasn't bad. Was it the year before last? The NXT? Anyway.
So they're like zombies and all sorts in it. Like
that was the one that had...
oh, God, that one.
It was...
That was the Thunderdome match, was it not?
Was it Gargano versus Kushida? That was cool.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyway.
That would have been like the tail end of NXT, wouldn't it?
Anyway. Yeah, the tail end of decent NXT.
On to important things. You can call the WCW hotline for $1.49 for the first minute and 99 cents for each additional minute. Keep a number, folks, of how many times the WCW hotline is mentioned throughout this show.
All right, we have the 900 number up and running the entire night. You're backstage fast, Gene. By the way, first guest on the 900 number right now is Sting. We had some questions about Sting. Why wasn't he at Halloween Havoc? Well, I'm sure that Chris Cruz
And Mike today are going to ask Sting that very question right now backstage at 1-900-909-9900. $1.49 for the first minute and 99 cents for every minute thereafter. I want to remind you fans out there, you can call the hotline right now, the likes of a stunning Steve Austin. He's going to be explaining to Mike today and Chris Cruz what happened in this match against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It's your exclusive backstage pass, so give us a call on the hotline right now on this historic evening at 1-900-909-9900. It's $1.49 for the first minute and 99 cents for every minute thereafter. And you can talk live to Jimmy Hart on the WCW hotline at 1-900-909-9900. Kids, get your parents' permission.
I swear to God, Mean Gene's getting a kickback from that. He must be.
He has to be. I don't know why.
Well, that's the joke. Do you remember when they did, was it Ted's Wrestling War Room or whatever it was called?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Scheme Genie was called, and that's they made fun of his hotline. Yeah.
Oh yes.
It makes you wonder other kind of hotlines he's running.
I would. Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on, right? Opening match of the evening, we have the Honky Tonk Man.
Can I just rewind for the dark match?
Of course.
On main event,
our ceremonial dark match. Go on.
It was Booker T. God, he's come a long way since wrestling dark matches.
Good Lord.
And he beat Brian Armstrong, who, of course, is better known as the Road Dogg.
As Road Dogg, oh, wow.
Another guy who's come a long way. See, this dark match at this show made their careers, made the pair of their careers.
So we've got one guy who's a WWE, who's now these days spending his time being a WWE, sucking up to WWE all the time. Yeah. And we've got another guy who's been fired from the WWE, tries to suck up to AEW, but then started calling them a glorified indie show, but then said he wanted a job.
Who was that? Sorry, I've not read that.
Road Dogg.
Oh, dear,
he got fired from WWE in the pandemic. He got furloughed and sacked. Then he started harping on about how he would really like to work in AEW, and AEW is great and would really like to work. Nothing to do with the fact that Billy Gunn works there. Right. And then he turned around a couple of weeks later and said, "Oh, it's like a glorified indie show."
Oh,
it's like
no, probably.
So that's going to be a no. Yeah. Anyway,
Who would have watched that dark match and think two of them two wrestlers would be in the Hall of Fame one day?
Exactly.
Sorry, Cam, now you can go on with the opening contest.
Oh, okay. Your opening contest of the evening is for the WCW Television Championship. It is the champion, Johnny B. Bad, versus the challenger, the Honky Tonk Man. It is a 10-minute time limit, which they make a big noise about before.
Why would they possibly make a big noise about that, Cam?
I have no idea, but it did lead to some certain things. Before we get into the actual happenings in this match, I've done a little bit of extra added-on notification and research today.
Oh my goodness!
You just mentioned this.
Because about Johnny B. Bad or the Honky Tonk Man?
Mine's about the Honky Tonk Man and his relationship with Eric Bischoff.
Oh, maybe not then. I've got a little bit of Honky Tonk Man news. It might cross over. You might have already researched it yourself.
Right, okay. Well,
go with the Honky Tonk Man.
They obviously I didn't remember Honky Tonk Man sticking around in WCW for that long in 1994, and I also remembered something about how Eric Bischoff said it was he that Honky Tonk Man's firing was the one that gave him the most pleasure in WCW.
Wow.
Just before you tell it, I'm just going to put in there, this is actually 4 years since he left WWE, near enough. So, he hasn't been on the big stage for about 4 years now.
Exactly. So, do you want Eric Bischoff's quotation on firing Honky Tonk Man?
Can you read it in that voice?
No, I'm going to read it in my normal voice. Well, I did give Phil 3 options last time out. But anyway, Eric Bischoff on firing Honky Tonk Man. He was speaking to the Lucha Libre online website. It comes back to the only guy I've ever really enjoyed firing. I mean, put a smile on my face. In this moment, when you ask me that question, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm beginning to smile from ear to ear because I had to fire the Honky Tonk Man. I would fire the Honky Tonk Man every single day of every single year for the rest of my life, and it would still bring me as much joy as it did back then.
Jesus.
So in the interests of journalistic integrity, obviously I thought...
As a broadcast journalist,
I thought, surely Honky's had a bit to say about this.
And
lo, he has.
Good
so,
Lord. Can you do Honky's accent, please?
No. Speaking to, well, I found it on a YouTube channel called the Hannibal TV. I don't know if that's who you're speaking to.
I get that quite a lot. It's quite good.
It seems to be a YouTube short, and this is Honky Tonk Man's response. Eric Bischoff told me on our first meeting that he didn't like my gimmick and that he was never a fan of mine. To keep Jimmy Hart quiet, I'll have to bring you in because he's driving me nuts. I said I hope I can change your mind, but I know my days were numbered. He promised me a contract, but very soon wanted me to do jobs for Johnny B. Bad. Nothing against Mark Merrow, but those guys had $300,000, $400,000 contracts, and I'm working out there for $1,000 a day. I don't know why this man didn't like me. I never said anything bad about him. I never said anything negative about him until he said I was the one guy he liked firing the most. He fired a lot of guys there. I must have done something to him somewhere that made him despise me. If he hated me that much, imagine how the people would have hated me and how much I could have done for his company.
Here's my rebuttal. Dear Honky Tonk Man, you're a talentless hack. Fuck off. Thank you.
I've got to say that sounded a very sort of good response by the Honky Tonk Man. He didn't really he didn't really
take any shots.
Diplomatic. However, I think he touches on that a bit more than Eric Bischoff does. I don't think Eric Bischoff actually really fired him. Because what I've heard is...
You try to say Eric Bischoff lies?
Well, it sounds it, and Honky Tonk Man's story backs it up. He was only doing one-shot appearances for $1,000. He wasn't on a contract or anything. They just rang him up and said, you want to wrestle, and you would get $1,000. So he technically wasn't under contract, so I don't see how Eric Bischoff would fire him. All he could say is, we don't want you back. But he couldn't... I don't think he could actually fire him.
I think it was probably, well, it depends on how you... Is it Eric Bischoff phoning him up saying, we don't need you anymore? Is that what Eric Bischoff equates as firing?
I guess so, because what does he say there? Just read that little quote out again, Cam, about...
Who, sorry?
The Honky Tonk Man's quote about him turning up. What's he say? Something about he couldn't get a contract or something like that. What's it say?
I said, I hope I can change your mind, but I know my days were numbered. He promised me a contract.
Yeah, that's it.
But very soon wanted me to do jobs for Johnny B. Bad. Nothing against Mark Merrow, but those guys had $300,000, $400,000 contracts, and I'm working out there for $1,000 a day.
Yeah,
it is strange though. Like the Honky Tonk Man in 1994 is still the Honky Tonk Man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's still like, it looks like he's just kind of walked off the WWE in the the 1990, got himself a singlet, and just kind of walked back on stage 4 years later.
That kind of describes how I felt about it as well.
It's like, how is Honky still a thing? It's nuts.
Well, apparently he did have one other stipulation that he wanted to put in his contract.
What was that? Pray tell.
And it makes sense to a degree. He wanted to become the television champion.
Fucking hell, that's just how you're going to aspire to, then you've got a problem.
I think he wanted to try and pull the Intercontinental trick off again, and you'll have it for like a year or something.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, because he felt, and a lot of other people said the same, it's like, that was his gimmick. His gimmick may be an Elvis impersonator, but really, it was keeping that Intercontinental title, and once he lost it, he literally shot down the card so quickly once Warrior beat him at SummerSlam.
Yeah, totally.
So quickly down the card, yeah.
Can you imagine in an alternative universe, he kept the television title for 4 years and it was WCW, it was Warrior's first match in WCW, it was dethroning him.
No, because I think I would really think that's a good idea.
Yes, I do.
It would have been hilarious, though.
This match, I mean, you talk about Halloween, like Be Bad comes out with vampire teeth, so
he's got a Dracula cape and fangs. Yeah,
I literally wrote down Bad with better pyro for his entrance and is wearing fangs. This match gets 5 stars already.
But like he's got like 2 bad blasters, in which I think Heenan meets with a who cares. Who cares?
Pretty much, yep.
The crowd are absolutely eating up Johnny B. Bad. They absolutely adore him, including the women on the hard camera with the biggest hair I've ever seen.
I was going to mention her, like the big sign sat next to flipping Muhammad Ali. Like, how did you get that seat up? What's going on?
Did anyone notice where Honky Tonk Man hails from?
I did not listen to that. No, where did he hail from?
He hails from Honkyland. Doesn't that sound like the greatest theme park ever?
It's the most racist theme park in the world, but never mind.
Sounds really bad.
Welcome to Honkyland.
Like Dollyland or whatever it is.
Honky Town.
I imagine you go there and it's like the like the Creaky Bottom theme park looks like now.
Oh no!
God.
Just like that. Just pictures of like the Honky Tonk Man covered in like rain and like old plants and stuff.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
My highlight of this match. Do you want to know my highlight of the match?
Go on.
The end.
If it's the same as mine, then carry on.
We'll see. It's when Honky goes for one of his moves and Tony Schiavone's like,
He's going for the kiss that don't miss. Oh, he missed it.
Yes, that was mine as well. I've got down here. Tony Schiavone says it's going to be bad. He's going to go for the kiss that don't miss. He missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I've got that written down as well and underlined. That is just after that. There's 15 seconds of the match left.
Yeah,
they don't really go to the end of the thing, do they? It feels like, because obviously Johnny Bad's the champion coming in. It feels like a heel ending if Honky was the champion. Does that make sense?
Yes, it feels like it's like the heel gets away with it by the skin of his teeth.
Because the crowd they're loving the match, they're really into it. But then at that ending, the whole crowd just deflates. You can audibly hear them just kind of go, oh.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's the wrong way around. If Honky was the champion, then it would have been an ideal end to the match. But he's not, so therefore.
Yeah.
I did love Johnny's urgency with 30 seconds to go, that he felt that to really win this match, he would taunt. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh, with 2 minutes to go, with 3 minutes to go, Honky's applying a chin lock.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he's blown up. That's why.
Just like
really working it. That's
okay.
Good. Also, apparently the production truck didn't think much of this match because we actually cut away from the action altogether for another WCW hotline plug.
Oh, that was Sting's backstage.
Yeah, it's just almost cutting to Sting. It's like 3 minutes into the match.
Guys, there's a match on. What are we doing? It's a 10-minute match. Can you not wait?
Exactly. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty sure Sting's got some kind of Oakley sunglasses sponsorship at this point. Because he's wearing those glasses and they stay on his face the entire night.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
They don't come off at all. Like at one point, I think he does like a move off the top rope, and like they're still on there because they're tied to his face.
They're very, very grippy Oakley sunglasses. If they are Oakleys, I don't think
they are, because there's a close up of him in the crowd later on. There's like close up on the Oakley logo.
Is it?
Like,
all right, okay.
Like I would like your boy Macho had Slim Jims.
Yes.
Clearly, like Sting's like, oh, we're going to get in with Oakley. That'll be good.
So Sting went the classier route. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Obviously, then he became the Raven with no Oakley, so they must have dumped him.
We're getting dangerously close to optics here. Me and Al are having a twitch on. Anyway,
I can't tell they were prescription. I assume they were regular sunglasses.
They could well.
Oh no, we're doing this, aren't we?
Anyway,
look, I don't want to have to do the rest of the podcast with Al and Cam as semi-fucking raging hard-ons, all right? Can we just move on?
Excuse me. I did not say we got excited by the whole prospect. I'm just saying a sort of nervous twitch I was trying to imply.
I didn't see what the twitch was, you dirty boy.
What would you do if you're there, like in the Specsavers or the opticians of your choice?
Jesus! Whoa!
I'll just use a generic term. I don't want to specify where you work.
Can I speak to you for a minute, Phil? Guys, we'll be back in a minute, Cameron. Now, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you encouraging this?
They're there because it's funny. Because they're there. Okay. You're there, like just working away, and Sting walks in for an eye test. What happens?
As in, he just walks in off the street.
Yeah. He's like,
well, we'd have to at the minute we'd have to sort of say, sorry, mate, we're at the end of August for free appointments.
yeah. Sorry, Mr. Boardman, you'll have to wait.
You'll have to wait. We're sorry, you're in Carlisle, but it's
even to Sting, even if he walks
doesn't matter. Even if the bloody Queen walks in right now, Phil, we're not just going to cancel someone just so they can boot.
Yeah, but how it works. This is Sting. It's somebody important. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute, Mr. Boardman. You've got what in your eye? Oh, that's why it's called a Stinger Splash.
Hey.
Oh. So even if he's like in full wrestling gear, painted up, face masked a lot, and he walked in, guys, a main event in Carlisle tonight.
Fucking hell!
Well, he could. We've got our federation in Carlisle.
But I've got something in my eyes. I need an eye test right now. Otherwise, the main event's ruined. You'd be like, sorry. Regulations.
We can't magic a sight test out with us, you know.
No, exactly. We can't. If it's an extreme medical emergency, then it would be A&E.
Yes.
Well, that's at least I just want to see where we stood. That's fine. We'll move on.
If he had a foreign object in his eye, A&E.
Like Darby had a skateboard.
An entire skateboard hanging out of his eyes.
Yeah, could happen.
In which case, I like to think he would go A&E right away rather than.
I'll just check with those guys.
Well, these wrestlers are cheap, so they'll try to do it the least expensive way possible.
True. And he probably would be, being American, he probably thinks he would have to pay for A&E. So
there you go. Yeah. So
we start getting some promo about the main event next, don't we? The kind of history of the.
I hated this. Why are you recapping? Right, I've bought the pay-per-view. You've got my money. Why the fuck are you telling me how much?
Did you?
You be quiet over there.
Theoretically, at the time, you've bought it.
Yeah. Theoretically, in 1994, I've already bought this show. I know what the card is. Why are we wasting 10 minutes explaining what the fuck we're here to do? Because we already fucking know what we're here for. We've already bought the fucking show. How dumb do you think we fucking are?
I assume Hogan gets some money out of it, so.
Probably.
Actually, yeah, now I think about it.
We do have, on the last pay-per-view, there was a masked man who smashed Hogan in the knee. Hogan walked back from the hospital.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking about that, and you know what it was like? Have you ever seen that Simpsons episode? You see, he went in with a bad knee, and when the guy hit him, it popped his knee back into place again. So he was fine enough to walk home.
Cool, maybe that's what Owen meant when he. Maybe that's what Owen meant when he put his knee out of his knee. Maybe that's what he meant.
Maybe, aye.
I'm going to kick your knee out of your knee.
There you go.
Your important question tonight is whose side is Mr. T on, as he is the referee for the Flair versus Hogan cage match later on tonight.
Before we get to that, there is a fantastic sign in the crowd that reads humanity, understanding, loving, kindness. And the first letter of each of those words spells out Hulk. I just wrote ha 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 down and beside that.
Oh, Jesus.
Fair play to that sign.
I've got to tell you, as you probably already know, I'm a massive Mr. T fan. I love it when Mr. T turns up in wrestling. I just think
you've kept this one quiet over the years, Al.
He's got such a good persona about him. I love his character. It really cool.
He loves his mother.
He does, yes.
Oh God! We need a clip of that song now, Phil. We're just giving extra work.
Another Hall of Famer. Don't forget that.
Yep. Mother, there is no other. Like
mother.
There's a karaoke song. There you go.
Treat your mother right.
Like the segue into the song is one of the most amazing things you'll ever see in your life. Like the segue into it is spectacular. Like the microphone appears in his hand out of nowhere, and bang! You're like, "What? He's singing? What happened there? I didn't even realize." It's brilliant. But
here's my question: when they showed the amateur video that showed Mr. T dining with Flair, how incognito was this amateur video? Because remember, this is 1994. Do you mean Flair didn't notice some guy sat in the car with a giant camera?
I'd more be concerned about Mr. T going undercover to a meal. Like with all his, hair and
his chains
and everything, and like talking in like a loud Mr. T voice. Like he's put down as under, I don't know, Mr. Tio, Senor T, as like he's undercover.
Senor T.
Well, for a man who's wanted by the military police, he does a lot of publicity work.
He does.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
But then again, it was a crime he didn't commit.
That is true.
Anyway, moving on from T and Hogan. Speaking of WrestleMania 1, here's Paul Orndorff.
Oh, nice segue.
Here's Paul Orndorff and Paul Roma versus Buff Bagwell and the Patriot.
Stars and strikes, if you please.
No, sorry,
I believe the tag team name was Pretty Awful. I mean, Pretty Wonderful.
Pretty Wonderful, Jesus.
Pretty Awful versus Stars and Stripes.
Do you want to know what my favorite part of this match was?
The ending?
No. We're going to commit to that joke for the episode, though, guys. We'll just heads up now. No, it was Paul Roman coming out, and he's wearing a Young Stallions jacket. Like it is. Like I checked. I Googled a picture of the Young Stallions, and it's exactly the same jacket. He's just like, I can't be bothered to get a new gimmick. I'm just going to wear that old jacket from the Young Stallion days.
Yeah, let's nick it off Jim Powers. We'll get his jacket. Yeah.
I was going to say, does anyone know why the Patriot is like thermonuclear over?
Because he's coming in America.
He's American.
He was when he first came into WWE. He just turned up and the crowd seemed to really take to him.
Why? Because his face is the American flag, so they just cheer it on instinct.
Fair enough.
Look at Duggan. He made a career of it.
Yeah,
I think Lex Luger could have learnt a few things. You know? And maybe if he'd have just asked Des Wilkes.
What a sentence that is. I'll tell you what. Lex Luger could have learned some things from the Patriot.
Yep, he could have. Lex Luger slams Yokozuna, then goes around the entire country on a bus. Des Wilkes just turns up and folk are cheering. Come on. All that Lex needed to do was have a mask.
That's all he needed.
This show is like off the rails already, and I love it. I did enjoy the opening stretch where it basically breaks out into a four-way brawl. The referee is laying in the 5 count, and he gets to 4 and just sort of gives up and goes, "You know what? You guys are not listening to us. Fuck it, carry on."
Because at some point, isn't like the Patriot just gets tired of Paul Romer's nonsense, just walks in and starts leathering him for no good reason. Just tired of his nonsense.
I mean, there was at one point Paul Roman nearly fell off the top rope to deliver like a fist to the Patriot.
But like, there's a bit where like, there's one bit. Is it Paul Romer? Like he jumps up to the top turnbuckle and then just like turns around and does like a move off the top, and it's like, wait a second, Paul Romer's might actually be good.
Paul Romer is really good.
I don't know. I think that's debatable. I liked it with Hercules. I did like
physical ability wise, he's really good.
It's like he does that so casually. He just jumps up top turnbuckle, facing the wrong way, turns around on the top without using his hands or anything, and then just jumps off.
Yeah,
and it's like, if only you weren't Paul Romer.
Oh, what a damning indictment.
He's got everything going for him except he's Paul Romer.
He's Paul Romer.
I mean, it is a handicap, let's be fair.
I do have a note here that I watched this a few weeks ago and I've got no actual picture memory of this, but I have written, did Orndorff just do the people's elbow?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I do remember that, yeah.
All right, okay. I thought it was that.
But if he did it with his gammy on, would that make it really weak?
Phil, really?
I mean, so it's like the sort of UK economy elbow then?
Yeah, like the withered arm. Just kind of like...
Oh my God, the withered arm.
The withered elbow.
That's Ric Flair's job. The withered arm.
And it's Orndorff with the withered elbow. To no effect whatsoever. But Bagwell hits his bridge suplex, but the ref's distracted because the Patriot's being a dick. So
the ref just kind of walks past it.
Yeah.
This is the most blasé, terrible ref I've ever seen.
Roman does his elbow off the top. Bagwell gets pinned. New champs. There you go. Drop down.
Pretty wonderful tag team champions. There you go.
Hooray.
But really, the first 2 matches aren't that bad. The crowd are into them. What's in the ring isn't bad. You know, it's not. We've seen worse.
Enough.
Nobody wants to see a time limit draw, though. They do so many of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that ruins the end of that match. But like the actual match itself was decent. And then this match, you know, for a tag team match, you know, it's not brilliant, but you get a lot of heat off the crowd from the Patriots and stuff, and a bit of a dodgy ending. But you know, we've seen worse in the opening 2 matches, haven't we?
We have seen worse.
Yeah, we've seen worse openers.
Because I've written down, worried it's going to go downhill soon.
Well, it does, because I literally wrote here's my notes for the following match. Special contest, Dave Sullivan versus Kevin Sullivan. No. That's all I wrote.
You've skipped ahead. We have Mean Gene with Flair and Sensational Sherry.
Oh, sorry.
Sensuous Sherry.
Sensuous Sherry, yes.
She can't be called Sensational.
No, she can't be called Sensational. When the choice quotes here are Ric Flair, my butt is on the line, and Sherry, I'm the queen.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a proper, like, you know, daft Flair promo, isn't it?
Oh, it's probably over the top shouting Flair promo usually, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 2 deluded old people.
Pretty much.
Isn't that most of Flick Res? Jesus Christ.
Flick
Ric Flair's career?
That's his name in Fire Pro.
Yeah.
Career.
Yeah. But this aforementioned special match with the Sullivans, like, it gets a promo, doesn't it? It gets like an actual lead into it.
Yeah.
It does, but unfortunately it is ruined by David Sullivan's entrance music.
Which is, I would like to put forward, by the way, that David Sullivan's entrance music on Halloween Havoc 94 must take the award. We've been doing this podcast since 2014, and I would like to nominate this as the worst theme song we have heard in the entire process of doing this.
Well, I quite enjoyed it.
Of course,
I would second that nomination.
I would have. It was my theme tune.
It's quite difficult because like a lot of the WCW music, because they don't have like a Jim Johnson there, a lot of it is bad, but it's generic.
This is
a lot of the music, I think, for WCW.
It's not like, you know, it's kind of middle of the road, but not offensively bad.
Yeah.
And I would wager that this is offensively bad.
generic royalty-free music for somebody like it doesn't fit the character. It's just music to play when they walk to the ring.
It's like Goldberg's theme song they found on a copyright-free CD.
Yeah, but the Hardy Boys, the same thing, isn't it? That was a copyright.
That's the reason why AEW can use the.
But this song, the Dave Sullivan song, and I'm kind of like pointing at the mic like I'm on Parkinson right now. Dave Sullivan's song is offensively bad. Like it's just,
I actually think that
not good.
I mean, the whole gimmick that he's the number one Hulkamaniac, fine, that's okay. But did it really need that song to just take it over the top?
Apparently
so.
They were wrong.
What was Hogan even doing in this feud?
He was just encouraging Dave to hit his brother. I think,
but I mean, why was he even involved? He's in the main event. What's he involved in this nonsense for?
As we know, Hulk Hogan likes to have his hands on everything because that way he gets more money. So, you know.
He gets Hulkamania t-shirts with Dave's face on them and stuff.
He does.
Could you imagine waking up next to somebody and that's what they're wearing? You'd be terrified.
I'd be terrified.
This is like Eugene, like 8 years, whatever it is. Yeah.
It's Eugene 10 years early.
I didn't even think of
that.
That's an amazing comparison, and I can't believe I never thought of that.
Yeah, it is essentially Eugene 10 years. My research is taking me to odd roads today, by the way.
Oh, good Lord.
No. To where?
Where's Dave Sullivan now?
He's not a murderer or something.
No. He's got a job now.
Oh, he's got a job, okay.
He's always had a job post-wrestling, but he's got a job now. He is the athletic director of Dana College in Blair, Nebraska.
Huh. Wow, okay.
Do you want to know his real name?
It's got to be Dave Sullivan.
It's not Dave Sullivan.
Oh, that's really sad. Is it Evad?
No.
Did they refer to it in this show?
No.
Can I take a guess?
Go on.
Is his first name William?
Yes.
No way. Okay, what's his actual name? Go on.
Is it Regal?
William Perrywinkle.
No. Dave Sullivan is better known as William Adolf Dannenbauer.
Wow.
Okay.
We wouldn't have thought Adolf was in there, but fair play.
No, I was surprised.
So is he Kevin Sullivan's actual brother then?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
But surely if Bischoff knew his middle name was Adolf, that could have been a whole different gimmick.
A whole different gimmick.
I think you'd be skirting along.
Here's I've just on his Wikipedia page now. Dave Sullivan in WCW, where he played a dyslexic brother of Kevin Sullivan, so that's the gimmick.
That's why he spelled his name as Evad.
Oh my god!
I don't know what writers WCW had, but they come up with some gold, didn't they?
The gold.
You'd like to think, they'll improve as the years go on, but then they brought us bloody Oklahoma, didn't they?
Well, there's a promotion in Texas right now that has a wrestler who is a librarian, and they're feuding with Miss Dyslexia.
But of course, was that match a while ago when was it Jeffrey from Toys R Us was in the ring, and someone smashed him in the face with an Amazon parcel and beat him that way.
Oh dear God!
What?
There was someone dressed as like Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us adverts.
Really?
Yeah, and like the opponent wrestler like snuck a foreign object into the ring, which was an Amazon delivery box, and smashed over Jeffrey's head and killed him.
Wow,
that's incredible.
Because obviously it was around the time I think the Toys R Us collapsed, so it was like Amazon killed.
Who's going to stock up the shelves? Do you remember the advert? You should put the advert in, right? Yep. Yeah, put the advert in now, yeah.
Well, yeah, put it in there.
The highlight of this match was really just because Bobby Heenan mentions WrestleMania 3.
Oh, yeah, they talk about down the road, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I can actually reveal the identity of the dastardly individual that took out Jeffrey the Giraffe.
Please.
It was Gangrel.
Oh my God, no!
I didn't realize
what have you done, Gangrel?
Gangrel killed Jeffrey the Giraffe
with a briefcase with an Amazon parcel.
Oh no!
Told you.
Back in 2018, during an FSCW Rumble at SuperCon in Florida.
I'm processing this information. Is that why Toys R Us went out of business?
Yeah.
Probably.
Are we to blame Gangrel for this?
Yeah, taking down Jeffrey with Amazon parcel. But I like to highlight that conversation is way more interesting in this match.
Yeah,
well, that's for sure, because
discovering that is way more interesting in this match.
We've got, I mean,
It's a count-out finish, just to kind of highlight that.
And it's all gets counted out after a match that goes on far too bloody long.
So I wrote down about the match. If this match lasts longer than 2 minutes, I riot.
I just wrote no, and that was it. I didn't have anything to say about this match.
We get a promo for the upcoming match, which is Dustin Rhodes versus Arn Anderson. My highlight of this promo, I forgot the entire bit because as soon as I saw Haku/Meng in a suit, I was like, wow, look at him.
Yes.
How cool does he look like?
The unlikely team of Arn Anderson, Colonel Parker, and Meng.
Yeah. But in a suit, he is amazing. I wrote down, he looks like the end boss of the Jackie Chan film.
He does. Yeah, you're right, actually.
Right. You're right.
Like, why was he always in the suit? He looks amazing.
I don't know.
Because WWE like to pretend there's no suits in Tonga, you see, so he couldn't possibly...
Yeah,
he wouldn't know what a suit was.
He's a rampaging savage.
Is
that why they had a Hawaiian as a sumo wrestler?
Do you think poor Haku had to wear his wrestling tights when he went on aeroplanes because he wasn't allowed? They're like, no, remember, you're a savage. You don't know what suit and clothes and shoes are, so you just have to sit in your smelly old wrestling trunks on the plane, yeah?
It's a tie-dye poncho and you kind of head thing.
Of Kamala sitting in business class in his full garb with his mask on.
With kimchi next to him guiding him. No. He trade up.
Put your belt on. No, not that way. Turn it over.
We were talking about off air. We were talking about wrestling dads. I think Kimchi was the original wrestling dad.
He was a big wrestling dad, wasn't he?
Oh my god! Yeah, he could have been.
God, there's an article for the website.
Imagine if that you'd have found it out in somewhere in Kamala's WWF career. They found out that Kimchi was his dad all along.
I did a Paul Bearer.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, that would have been... You could have had such a heartfelt, touching moment.
And then he turns on him, obviously, because that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what would have happened, yeah, because there's no love in wrestling.
No, just hate and terrible angles and exploitation of illness.
Early highlight of this match with Dustin Rhodes and Arn Anderson is on commentary when Bobby Heenan says about Arn Anderson being like really dangerous. He'll pull your eyebrows up over your lips.
That sounds painful.
Which I assume he's got the wrong way around, but then like Tony Schiavone calls him out on it, so Brain double downs on it. He's like, yeah, think about it.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, he'll pull your eyebrows right up over your lips. Believe me.
My eyebrows up over my lips?
Think about it.
That sounds horrible. Reversal.
You're not going to like it.
Well, you're a stooge.
I mean, sure, why not?
Sure, yeah, it would really hurt, but like, Brain just completely knows that. Yeah, think about it, Tony. There you go. And then I think just after that was when, what's his name? Dustin Rhodes gets like thrown over the top rope, and he realizes last second that there's a big set of stairs there, and just kind of like manages like carry himself like an extra foot.
He sort of like wiggles himself out of the way so he doesn't die.
Yeah, so this lands on concrete instead. It's like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Which we'll come back to this, because was he... Because I think he goes to do a move on Arn, and Arn kind of either moves or kind of uses his momentum. Does he actually throw Dustin over the top rope? Can anybody remember?
I don't think he does.
Well, it would be a disqualification.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they determine that it's kind of Dustin's own momentum that takes him over.
Yeah, because it takes him over like, well into the walkway. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of like when like they run towards you and you're on the ropes, then you lower the rope and then they go flying over it.
Well, it's on that subject, so yeah, I'll quickly bring this up. Do you remember the last few WCW pay-per-views we've done has that ramp way that goes to the ring?
Yeah, the raised ramp.
Apparently that was some of Hogan's doing that. He done away with the ramp, and that's why it's just a normal aisle. I think it didn't suit his entrance or whatever, so yeah. It might be an urban myth, but that's what I read.
Do you thought with his back and knees, he'd want to like as easy to get in and out of the ring as possible?
Yeah.
He's only got the one routine. It's like he's got a program. Yeah. If he can't do that program, he wouldn't know how to get in the ring if there's a ramp there. He just couldn't
remember. Like I used to have it must have been an old episode of like Superstar something on TV, recorded off ITV or something, but it was like Hogan versus Bossman. Or must be like on a house show or something. And they did have like that kind of raised ramp to the ring. I remember the only time I remember seeing it in a WWE show. There
was a couple of arenas that would do the ramp, but it's very rare you would see the ramp thing. Yeah.
And it was Hogan versus Bossman. I remember it was like one of the only times you would see like because I think it was around the time of their big feud and all sorts. So it was like you wouldn't really see that normally on Superstars. But I just remember like that image of that thing. I wonder if like he's just like, nah, don't like it anymore. Get rid of it. Just to kind of put it in context. At this point, Hogan basically ran the company, didn't he? Essentially, or everything had to kind of.
I don't think he quite had the level of power the NWO would have given him.
Yeah,
because that was like WCW's main cash cow when it started. Yeah. I mean, we're a couple of years away from that just yet, just under 2 years, aren't we? But this is very much when WCW would basically try to recreate Hogan's late 80s run.
Yeah.
And sort of very early 90s run in WCW and try to replicate
that. His creative was basically like, it was like his creative, wasn't it? Like everything, like he had sign off on what he was going to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if he had sort of full on creative control yet, but I think it was very much a case of they didn't want to piss him off because he was like the jewel in the crown.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there would have been a thought process that if Hogan didn't want to do anything in WCW, he would just fuck right back off to Vince.
Yeah. It's probably, you can see, like, you know, he's got his pals up and down the cards. Like go on there, aren't they? So you can kind of you can just feel like his influence all over the company.
I don't think under any other circumstances, Knobs and Sags are getting a job.
Probably not. You're probably right there.
To be honest, it's like in TNA when he was in 2010, and all of a sudden the Nasty Boys turned up.
Yeah,
which
is why I think this match kind of stands out a bit because it does feel like very much like a WCW match.
It feels like it could have taken place 2 years earlier.
Yeah, or even like 5 years earlier with a different Dustin. Well, probably didn't it? At different roads. And Arn Anderson would have been doing like 10 years earlier, wouldn't they, with the Horsemen and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like a big meaty match. There's lots of slapping, lots of.
It's really good. Dustin's, and he's to this day, a guy with a lot of ability.
He's a year away from Goldust at this point.
Really? He's not that far away.
Wow.
He's 5 years away from 7.
They do a bit. I don't know. They do a bit of the.
Bravo!
I forgot about 7, but I don't know. I just the finish for me was just a bit. I don't know. I just
a bit out of nowhere.
He rolls him up and then he just gets beat up, doesn't he? At the end, it's like
I think this one's just carrying the feud, isn't it? It's like a hot feud going into it because he armed.
But apparently the feud's been going on forever. I think they should have finished it. It just keeps on going. It just keeps on fucking going. It won't stop. It just keeps on going.
On the subject of things that just don't stop, our next match.
But did Arn Anderson think he was Jake at the end of the match? Is it because he doesn't work there anymore? We'll just nick his finishing move, yeah?
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, no one else is doing it. We'll just pretend it's mine for.
Quick point about the upcoming match. They show like the lead into it, which is I think Steve Austin was going to face Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the TV title. Was it the TV title? Yeah. And then because Steamboat's injured, they give Austin the belt. And then Duggan just comes in and squashes him and wins the belt.
It's the US title, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, it's the US title. You're right.
Sorry, yeah. So he squashes Austin on his debut and wins the belt.
Before you say anything, I'm sure it's got nothing to do with him being Hogan's friend in the slightest. Before you insinuated, I'm sure it was based on his wrestling prowess.
Sure it is.
I was actually going to say, is it everyone still like weirded out by Steve Austin having a luscious hair at this point?
You can tell it's on its way though, can't you? You can tell it's on its way.
It is running away from, totally.
I've had a little look into this, so we're about 6 months or so away from his ECW run.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, a little bit more. He gets June. I looked this up. June 1995, he's fired from WCW, and he debuts in the WWF in January 1996. He spends the last 6 months of 1995 in ECW.
There you go.
2 years later, on from this, in about I think a couple of weeks earlier, in October, about 2 years later, is the Buried Alive pay-per-view, where we get the first Stone Cold entrance with the Breaking Glass.
Oh,
yep. He's also, when you think about it, 3.5 years away from WrestleMania 14.
Yeah,
Jesus,
being squashed by Duggan.
Now, I have a quick question for everyone here. What country does Steve Austin come from?
What country?
Well, he comes from the Broken Skull Ranch. Everybody knows this.
USA.
No, but where is this hacksaw hail from?
The USA.
Why are the crowd chanting? Why are the crowd chanting USA? What the hell is wrong with them?
What do you think?
Duggan, man. The British fans chanted. Everyone chants it.
Well, it's not. Yeah, holy shit! This match.
I mean, I read somewhere like Duggan used to be a good worker. And when he came to WWE, he's like, wait a minute, I don't even have to do that. I just shout "ho." The fans love me, and I get paid. And to be fair to him.
Yeah, he does. He does. He works with a fair amount with very little. Does Duggan?
And it's got him a great career, Hall of Fame, first Royal Rumble winner.
I think in his mid-south days, he meant to have a really amazing series of matches with Ted DiBiase and stuff. But like you say, once he got to WWF, he just I can just do the gimmick and just get paid. This is brilliant.
Well, it's like I understand that for people because. Doing stuff like, I'm just going to use the Hardys, for example, doing that and Edge and Christian and stuff, it really shortened their careers, really damaged them and stuff, didn't it? And then you've got this guy who has a plank of wood, goes ho, and he wrestled well into his, I don't know how old he was, but he was wrestling WWE in 2009 and stuff, wasn't he? And, The
thing here, though, it's embarrassing when a 2x4 block has got more charisma than you do. Because you're just a giant idiot that shouts "hole" with a flag.
Well, he had a very successful wrestling career. You can't take that away from him.
I'm not going to take that away from him. I can call him a talentless cunt if I want. I can call him that.
Yeah, but he won the first Royal Rumble.
That's fine. He will always have that.
And also, he's the spirit animal of the podcast. So just respect that.
He is.
Are you guys? All right, never mind.
Let's not forget, in 1993, he obviously rang the Patriot up. And then he had that singlet with the US flag on the back, remember?
That's right.
They're you're not American enough. You need more American flags on you, yeah?
You know what? He should have just painted himself head to toe in the Stars and Stripes and walked out that way.
I just found the post I did years ago about it. There was I think a collection of Mid-South matches, and one of the matches was Jim Duggan versus Ted DiBiase in a coal miner's glove on a pole, loser leaves town tuxedo match inside a steel cage.
I must see this.
I'm there for that. I'm there for that.
Surely the title's longer than the match.
Who cares? I'm there for it.
This sounds like something. Was Vince Russo booking Mid-South?
It's going crazy. Yeah,
Judy Bagwell's a special referee. Yes.
Referring to our previous conversation, Steve back by body drops, hacks over the top rope, or gets him chucked over on the top rope.
I hate this.
DQ.
I mean, again, what a lame. I know the match is 8 minutes. What a lame-ass ending, man. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. You get so disqualified for being thrown over the top rope. Christ almighty. I mean, what a stupid rule.
I was written down, it's sake. That's all I've written down.
Yeah, pretty much just nothing.
How can you have a 60-man battle royal when
everyone gets disqualified?
That's a very good point. Well, I suppose it does make sense in the end because everyone over the top rope's disqualified. Therefore, the last person in the ring is the winner. So if you actually think about it with some flawed logic, it does make sense.
But it's the person who does the throwing is disqualified, isn't it? So,
yeah.
So everyone's trying to not throw anybody else out of the ring.
So what you're trying to say is WCW in 1994 invented the reverse battle royal.
Yes.
Apparently.
All right.
But yeah, stupid match. Duggan retains, but come on.
Yeah, we have another successful title defense from Duggan versus Austin at Clash of the Champions in November the 16th, 1994.
Oh, look at the research here.
Oh, yeah. Jim Duggan would keep the US title until losing it to Vader at Starrcade 94.
Ah, yes, my man Vader. We're coming on to him in a minute.
We'll come to him in a minute.
We are indeed.
I've got to say, this next match features two of my favourite wrestlers.
This match just features violence, which is why I enjoyed it.
Are we referring to, we get the promo for the Vader versus Guardian Angel match?
For the rest of this match, there is no such person as the Guardian Angel.
Just call him Boss Man, that's what I did.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yes.
Call him Boss Man, call him Boss.
I've written down, it's good to see Boss Man trying a new gimmick, that's good.
So, can we agree that Harley Race as Vader's manager is just a match made in heaven?
Oh, it's perfect.
Because we're going back to wrestling dads again.
Well, I'm pretty sure he does more in this match than Vader.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much. I mean, Harley's still got his working boots.
he's coming out earn his money tonight, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, how ridiculous does the Big Boss Man look here?
It's
in
like
this gimmick.
He first of all he's wearing a t-shirt, which doesn't really work, and then he's got like a jumper that gets ripped and you see his boobs. No, thank you. And then like he kind of sticks to the jumper, which is, whatever. But like he's still boss man, and he's still good. Like there's a bit where in the promo video you see him like he cuffs Harley Race to the ropes. And he tries to hit him with a chair, and the guy's trying to stop him. And there's a great quote from Boss Man where he's like, "Hey man, whatever happens. We've just got to live with it." Like he's going to kill him or something. It's like, do you see like when he comes out with like the jacket and the hat on and stuff, like that kind of makes sense as like the Guardian Angel gimmick. But it makes sense as the gimmick. It works as a gimmick. But as soon as he takes the jacket off, it's like, you just for dude in a jumper. What's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, they changed him back pretty quick. He became Bubba Rogers again.
Yeah.
Although,
did I get that right?
Was he?
Did I get that gimmick right?
Did he come in as the boss?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it didn't sound right for some reason. But
No, you're right.
But I also did my research, and apparently Bossman went through the Guardian training for his gimmick, and he was inducted into the Order.
Oh,
so he lived the gimmick on that one. Yeah?
Right.
He truly did care about law and order, as we all know.
I'm sure they were thrilled during the spot where Vader just takes 5 hard shots at his face and he just hits the mat like a sack of potatoes.
I think I've written that somewhere. What did Bossman do? Did he piss Vader off? Because they seem like really proper shots.
I do mean this is after Bossman reveals Vader's identity by ripping his mask off.
I thought Vader took it off. Did he take it off? Did he?
I don't remember. I thought. Oh no, wait. Let me check. No, you're right. Vader did take it off. Sorry.
But it is just like he just seems to be like very not happy, and it's just like, wow, okay, right.
It's coming at the corner. He's like it's 4 right hands, then a left that just drops him.
Yeah, but this, like you say, it's like I've written down. It's just like a big beefy match. It's like, but then like Bossman just like a good old suplex on Vader, just a wicked looking power slam off the top rope.
Yeah.
I also thought Bossman was a good wrestler. I thought he was good.
I think he was just like saddled with not so fantastic gimmicks.
Yeah, he had his one gimmick.
Bossman gimmick was like for the time was like brilliant. Him being like him as the bad guy against Hogan, and then when he kind of dropped the weight and he became a bit more svelte and kind of face Bossman, he was still cracking. Like he do that kind of slide out the ring, then like slide back into the ring and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Bossman was cool, but like I think again he was somebody who needed somebody good to work with, kind of bring his matches up, which is like you got him working with Vader, like that's good. Harley Race getting involved as well. Like doesn't Harley Race take a suplex at one point?
Well, yes, he does, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's fantastic timing on the finish.
He slams Vader into Harley Race at one point because I've got a note here going, "Holy hell, that looks rough."
Clearly, Harley was like, you know what, I kind of want to get back into this a wee bit. And I think after this match, he went, you know what, this is probably not a good idea.
Harley Race takes a couple of heavy bumps during all this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like say like Race is like I think at one point, but like Bossman's like I'm just going to wrestle Harley Race now. Just forget about Vader. I'm just going to. Vader's the manager. Because there's one point I think like the start of the match, like Bossman just basically just starts beating up like Harley Race, and Vader's like so the ring going, what's going on? I'm still taking my ring gear off. What? He just kind of like slowly ambles over and like, can we start the match now?
Because it's the finish not he suplexes Race, but then Vader splashes him.
Yes.
Because I thought the timing on that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's just as he lands the suplex, isn't it? He kind of comes in with a splash.
That could have went terribly wrong.
It could have been like Doom.
Just snaps Harley Race's head off.
Although Bossman wasn't used the best in WCW, of course, it's WWE that would come up with the most ridiculous storylines for him. I do not believe we can ever mention the Big Boss Man without reminding everyone that he stole Big Show's dad's coffin.
That's true. That is true.
He stole a dog and cooked it.
He did, but the coffin for me, that bloody scene where he's dragging it and Big Show's on top of the coffin, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one of those enduring images.
God bless him. He was like, you know what? I'm going to just commit to this and we'll just go for it.
He give it a good go, didn't he?
Maybe something happens. But I think like at the end of the match, obviously clearly the feud's going to carry on. I'm not sure if it does, but
yeah.
God bless Boss Man.
So we go from one violent spectacle to 4 very angry, violent men, it would appear.
Very angry men. Well, there's like you see the backstage like attack assault on the back Nasty Boys. That looks really brutal. It's like it's a real kind of bleak looking dressing room they're in.
They do deserve it because the Nasty Boys are just pricks. So you know.
Yeah, I've never really fan of the Nasty Boys.
Anytime I get to watch Terry Funk be like angry wrestling granddad, I'm very happy.
Angry wrestling granddad.
He just looks mental.
Well, there's a few bits like there's a pit stop earlier on where Terry Funk gets in the pit stop and he kind of backs off, and he just looks like really upset and he's just like, "You son of a bitch! Yep. God damn you!" And he gets bored and smashes himself with a chair for a few minutes. It's like, what's going on with this match?
I mean, there is one point where we do get Brian Knobbs shirtless, which nobody needs.
Nobody needs that.
No. I did write in my notes, please, for the love of God, cover yourself or children. But yeah, this match was just wild.
I mean, we get Meng in a suit, so I respect that. Thank you. And then it ends with Terry Funk taking a pile driver onto a pumpkin. I mean, what can you say about it?
You might have forgot it was Halloween, so they were just making sure. Making sure you remembered.
Yeah, this was just sort of a throwaway match, but as a sort of spectacle of just unrelenting violence, it was enjoyable.
The sheer daftness just going on.
Yeah.
Just rumbling around the ring.
So I have a question for everyone. Did Muhammad Ali die in the crowd during the show? Because they cut to him a couple of times. I swear to God, he didn't move.
He wasn't. I mean, obviously he's got his conditions at this point, and I think it wasn't. I think was it '96 Atlanta Olympics was probably a bit worse, a bit more awkward, but it's still like
it's just the fact that showcasing we've got Muhammad Ali. It's like, well, you do, but he's not exactly doing well.
Another WrestleMania 1 reference, I might add.
Yes,
that's true. That is true.
That's like 4 people from WrestleMania now on the card, isn't that, I think? But anyway, yeah, but like when they get me the ring for the plaque and the thing and stuff, it's like, I don't think he should be in the ring.
No, I
don't think, but...
I think it's mainly just because he's the Muhammad Ali Future Foundation, isn't it?
Yeah. And Bischoff gets himself some kind of big promo because he's in the ring as well.
Well, he's in his hometown, is he not?
And they're like, he gets like a massive intro from about to just being there. Like he just burst the entire idea, concept of wrestling into the company, into the show for this or something.
We have finally made it to the end. We have made it to the main event. A steel cage match, career versus career, for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Hulk Hogan with Ric Flair. That's not right. Fuck. Let me try that again.
Okay. Swing and a miss.
Strike 2. Hulk Hogan with Jimmy Hart versus Ric Flair with Cher Martel with special guest referee Mr. T. But before we get to any of that, Michael Buffer's in the house to make this match feel important and for Michael Buffer to collect the easiest $250,000 he's ever got.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Ric Flair, he notes as being in the unaccustomed role of challenger.
Yeah, I've got it down here, in the unaccustomed role of the challenger.
Well, you better get used to it.
Yep. Well, yes.
Yeah, then Hogan comes in, Brutus nearly trips over the pyro, it's going real well. The cage comes down like as gracefully as a fart in a lift.
I do like how the bell rings before the cage is even in position.
It's just not like that meme that went around that said, "Go home, steel cage, you're drunk." Was this not from this show?
It might have been, actually.
Because it's just the way that one side's coming down a lot quicker than the other.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as that time where, like, was it Seth Rollins and he got impaled on the steel cage coming down?
Yeah, the spiky bit, yeah.
The spiky bit came down. But it's like, it still is like this. Maybe you should have thought about this and got it down like a little bit sooner or a little bit better. Or even off camera, let's just suggest that. Like, it's fine if the live crowd see it, but let's not let the people at home see it, you know what I mean?
They could have done with Mean Gene just hawking the hotline while they're putting the cage.
Before we get into the match, I've got the question of the pay-per-view.
Oh, here we go.
How many guys on the card do you think didn't wrestle for WWF?
Oh.
Never wrestled for WWF.
Okay. So
never appeared. Let's just say appeared.
Are you just looking for a number here, Al? Yeah.
Yeah, just a number.
Okay. Prior to this show.
No. Like include from yeah.
I'm going to say
2.
I'm going to say 3.
Cam?
5.
The answer is 1.
Oh, who is it?
Really?
Yeah, and that's the next question. Who is it?
Kevin Sullivan?
Nope.
Dave Sullivan.
Dave Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan wrestled in the WWF.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Of course it counts. It's the same organisation.
That doesn't count.
I mean, David Sullivan couldn't sign with the WWE because he couldn't spell his name.
Yeah, he signed with the wrong name. Like, who don't know who that is? Burn that contract.
Yeah. Bunkhouse Buck, right?
Spock, fucking hell.
Now, he didn't technically wrestle in the WWE, but he actually played Jack Swagger's dad in 2010.
Really?
And something where Kane was beating him up, yeah.
Oh my God.
Jack Swagger's dad.
This is the Wrestling Dad show. What is going on?
See, we just bring it all back together, back to dads. It's brilliant.
Yep. So, as I mentioned, the cage, the bell rang as the cage was being lowered, and the cage was, obviously, as Cameron's described, drunk. Then, when the cage gets into play, the bell rings again, and I'm like, wait, the match is over already?
Match is over, yeah. Match is done. Yep. I will say, in defense of the cage, like, you can actually see the people inside the ring.
Yes.
With that kind of style cage. Like, the blue one was great, and the nostalgia and that, but it was really hard to see from, like, the hard cam, wasn't it?
The cage was almost just as tall as Hogan.
I mean, there is that.
Mr. T got his Weldon torch out and actually made the cage himself. He had some junk knocking around backstage, and he just got his torch out and welded it all together. Yes.
Because I saw, what was it? The Punjabi prison match.
Oh God!
Oh Jesus!
I saw like a picture that was going around because the anniversary, and it's like you couldn't even see inside it. It was ridiculous.
The fact they did that match twice.
Elevated liver enzymes.
Never forget.
Spanish science identified that.
Oh no.
I'd like to point out that as soon as the match starts, Hogan goes straight in with an eye rake.
He's going, I was going here, yeah, Hogan's straight in with the eye rake.
Because he's a big cheating bastard.
Yeah,
just to point that out.
I also do like the fact that Mr. T does not take his coat off the entire match.
He's got his jacket on, yep.
I read that there. I read that at some point, like, well, T's looking roasted in that jacket.
He must have been.
Yeah, but halfway through, I've got, has Mr. T ever taken this jacket off?
Nah.
It's actually fused to his skin.
Maybe it was given to him by his mother.
You wear that for me, T. You never take it off. I promise, mother, I will never take off this jacket.
We have Shivani saying Mr. T's 3 counts may not be polished.
You don't say.
He's not joking.
And no shit, Sherlock. Yeah.
I mean, at one point, I was kind of wishing Muhammad Ali would get in to show him how it was actually done.
Yeah. Flair gets, I think I've written down, Flair into cage. I assume he's bleeding now. No, really? Flair's bleeding into cage. Is he bleeding? What? No.
Yeah, this must have been in the good old days where Flair's head didn't just need to get like tapped with like the soft caress of a child, and it would just blast open
over his face.
Soft caress of a child. Is that wife number 5?
Oh my goodness!
Oh God, that's too far.
Sorry.
Hogan with an eye rake. Hogan choking Flair. Hogan biting Flair. He's just a big cheating bastard.
It's a good match, but for all the dressing.
Yeah. I mean, well, and undressing. Let's remember.
Well, yeah, there's like, do you need Mr. T? Do you need Sherry there? Do you need Jimmy Hart there? It's like, let him just...
You don't feel like this is supposed to be like a career versus career, icon versus icon, but it never feels like that kind of, like there's any kind of stakes. Like finality to it at any point, or stakes. It never feels like...
because there's not, because Ric Flair is retiring, and as we all know, he only retired last Saturday.
Exactly.
Well, I have a bit of research about that.
Oh,
but I'll get it to the end. Once we cover this match, we'll get it to the end.
But there's like some, I mean, there's some good spots in it. I mean, Flair never bleeds, but like he does like a really big delayed suplex on Hogan, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that to Hogan.
No, because Hogan's not about that creative.
This could have been your WrestleMania 8 match, let's not forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, minus the steel cage probably, but yeah.
But could you remember, like, was there a time when Hogan was suplexed on the WWF roster?
Must have been, surely.
Warrior probably hit. Yeah, in fact, I'm sure Warrior hit one at WrestleMania.
Savage
did the press time, I suppose, didn't he, Warrior? So that'd be something comparable, I suppose.
Yeah,
but it's like this seemed like a big like seeing like Hogan getting suplexed. Like, oh wow, he's letting them actually suplex him. That's novel.
Yeah,
and they do a lot of going up to the cage and just kind of standing on top of the ropes and falling off the ropes. And yeah, Sherry comes in, gets the dress ripped off.
Yeah, which is
Sherry's down the undies.
Doing the Miss Elizabeth spot.
Yeah. The masked man comes down the ring, batters Sherry.
This masked man, could they have come up with any less of an imaginative outfit?
You mean, what if it was Arachnaman? Is that what you're saying?
It is Arachnaman levels of bad.
Wait a second. Like... Whoa. Stop.
Okay.
Come close to the mic. Ewan, Arachnaman isn't bad. It's borderline genius. We had this conversation episodes ago. Arachnaman is the greatest gimmick in wrestling.
No, I thought that was Duggan.
Duggan's not a gimmick. He lives America. That's like his thing.
I think Arachnaman did fly too close to the wind and was threatened legal action, and he had to go away. But yes, I think
Arachnaman. Copyright can.
Didn't Arachnaman hail from like Web City or something?
He did.
Yes, Web City. That's the match we all needed. We needed Arachnaman versus Masked Man. There can only be one man.
Mask versus mask.
The mask.
You could make a whole match, surely, of just people who were dodging copyright. You could have like Arachnaman versus Glacier. That would have been cool.
The ultimate mask off.
Yeah.
But fair play to Sherry, though. I mean, like, at some point, like, she takes a dive off the top of the cage to get Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
She does.
She's properly going for it, isn't she? She's like, I don't care. I'm just going to beat some dudes up.
She is a woman willing to fight whilst in her undies, it would seem.
But one thing I think, I know you're going to say the reason, because you're like mocking my hero, but he looks so much slimmer than his WrestleMania heyday.
Steroids.
He does. Roids, Al. Roids.
Steroids. Yeah, big juicy bastard. Sorry.
It's like noticeable. In fact, at the end, I don't even think he does his, he's like muscle poses he used to do, like, his bear hug type pose. Yeah. I don't think he does any of that anymore.
Well, it's not the point. Was it like Halloween Havoc 96 where he shaved off the mustache? Like, that's weird.
Oh, yeah, that's just not right.
That's weird. But yeah, he has dropped, you can tell, like, he's dropped, like, a significant portion. Not saying how he did it.
He's got
if he wasn't taking anything chemically, but he does seem like less gassed.
You see, I thought the match itself was quite good.
Match is all right.
I agree. It didn't quite get the epic reason, and I think because not one person was buying Hogan losing with it. Nobody, putting that stupid retirement stipulation on the line was even stupider because that's less likely Hogan's ever going to do that in a million years.
It's like sorry, Alan, you go.
But the other strange thing is, like you said before, the cage. It looks like they could just jump over the cage. It's so weird looking.
Yeah. It's weird, like you talk about like Hogan's last match, like the Cell, like the lead up to WrestleMania 8, that felt way more like his last match.
You're right, against Sid, I agree.
Like the sit down interview with McMahon and all that kind of stuff. It really felt like something was ending, but this is just like it doesn't like Ric Flair's not going to retire. I know it's a bit difficult because we're looking back on it with hindsight from 5 Ric Flair retirements in.
I'm still waiting for next year's.
So we're seeing that with like a little bit of like, whatever. But even at the time, I don't think anybody would have bought it as being Flair's last match, would they?
No.
Only if he was like had a bad injury or something,
There was the ultimate retirement match that we never got, Sally. We never got Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in a retirement match.
That would have been the one, wouldn't it?
That would have been the one.
Funk could come in that one last time. But no, Terry, come, please.
What I was going to say is that in this situation, this is just like way too many gimmicks. You either do the cage match or you do career versus career. You can't have
and a special referee on top of that. No,
exactly. So it's 3. So you don't really need 3. It's career versus career with a special guest referee, fine. But throwing them in a cage is just too much.
I mean, for me, and you might agree. Okay, the greatest retirement match has ever been.
Are you asking our opinion?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's going to be Taker at WrestleMania 24, surely.
Yeah.
Is that the Ric Flair one, yes?
Yeah.
Any other contenders?
That's up there. I'm trying to think of any more.
It's difficult because it's not often a wrestler gets a retirement match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's usually they get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue, for going out on top, you could argue Stone Cold at WrestleMania 19, but then obviously he's come back against Kevin Owens this year.
Yeah.
For a one-off, would that count? Because that was kind of like that Austin versus Owens match.
No, it wasn't announced as a retirement match.
No, it was WrestleMania 19, I suppose, if you're going to go down that road.
No.
Oh, God, I'm trying to think of some more. Because most of the time it's like retirement gets kind of thrust upon them.
Yeah.
Kind of short notice, medically, usually. But
for me, the greatest retirement match in when the gimmick was used perfect, even though the gimmick never stuck, was WrestleMania 7.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I know people go on about the Michaels. The Michaels Flair match might have been good, but the subsequent soiled it a bit. I know you could argue the same with the Savage Warrior match that he didn't. He was going to retire, by the way. That was the whole point of that. Savage wanted to retire, but when Warrior quit, Vince McMahon begged him back. But the whole storyline and the Elizabeth stuff and everything, that for me was just fantastic. That was such a good way to use that gimmick. Whereas this just seems it's just there for the sake of having it there. And I think it was a way to maybe shaft Ric Flair out of pay. I don't know if you've got that later to come, Cam, have you?
I do not know. I was more concentrating on how they brought him back.
Well, I think it was something to try and keep him off telly and not pay him. But I don't think he went for it, and he held them up for a better contract. But I think their idea was to keep him off telly so, they didn't have to pay him as much. But I don't think that stuck.
It's supposed to be like, the big retirement match, and Flair loses. And he just kind of walks out. Like, there's no kind of...
He does. He just disappears at the end.
He disappears. Hogan's cheering. You don't even get the kind of, the tearful wave goodbye to the ring stuff. Like,
it's mainly gone. Because, once again, the spotlight has to be on Hogan. Because when this match ends, there's still 11 minutes of this pay-per-view to go.
We've got the important running at the end. I don't know if we're at that yet, but don't spoil it for the viewers. Because you'll never guess who it is. Never guess who it is.
Yeah, I think we're at the finish. Because, Hogan... leg drops, big boot to Flair, leg drop to Flair after that.
Flair's obviously, Flair and Sherry in the ring, there's all kind of shenanigans going on, and as part of their devious plot to win the match, they handcuff Mr. T to the ropes?
Yes.
He's like, I ain't getting on no plane, yeah.
just pack him up with the rest of the ring like that. And then they just start booting him every now and then. It's like, what that doesn't make any sense at all. Why are you going to handcuff the ref who then can't count properly?
I suppose only handcuff one arm.
Exactly, still one free arm.
I'll give you that, but still, I was like, it makes no sense.
It is stupid.
And then I think somebody like magically cuts him at the end so Hogan can like lift him up and give him a big cheer.
Yeah, they found the key. Yeah, this it's kind of a. Obviously, we're coming.
Well, no. Let me do that. What they did is they handcuffed him to the bottom ring rope, so Colonel Decker could finally come and get him, and they could get the reward money for him.
That makes sense. Flair's always short of cash, isn't he? So that makes
perfect sense.
There you go.
There's 11 minutes of the show left when this match ends, which makes you worry that there's going to be some kind of shenanigans going. That 11 minutes is not dedicated to saying goodbye to a tearful Ric Flair as he walks off.
No, he's not bleeding, by the way. He's in unbleeding state.
He's already on his model backstage, but that's a different story.
Exactly. The masked man comes running out of the ring.
Can we mention Oakley Sting interfering?
That's coming up.
All right.
It's Brother Brutai.
Oh yes, spoiled it for everyone. It was never going to be one of Hogan's friends. Never.
No, not at all. Then we get Kevin Sullivan. We get Earthquake.
No, we do not get Earthquake.
Can I point out?
Thank you.
In this, the continuing theme of people from WWF just not bothering to buy new stuff and wearing their old gimmick stuff. Earthquake, he's just wearing Earthquake's old ring gear, isn't he, from WWF?
Pretty much.
I'm not wrong there, mate. It's exactly the same ring gear.
It's just have Earthquake written on it.
And he is bursting out of this outfit, so this must have been one he didn't wear very often because he was very...
One for the old days.
I think it's more milkshake than Earthquake.
Don't miss out Sherry doing an axe handle from the top of the cage.
I'll mention that.
Yes. She goes all out.
But what's great to the big reveal is like they take the mask man mask off, and the crowd just kind of go, "Oh yeah."
Pretty much.
It's
a stupid end to a show that I guess we'll get to the ranking in a minute, but it wasn't even like a show of two halves. It was just a show that didn't quite know what its identity was meant to be.
It's just weird. And then you've got the beatdown going on. Sting comes out of the crowd to help Hogan.
Yeah,
and then
Sting's cosplaying Mr. Hughes.
Wow,
I think you'll find
that is good shit, Cameron. Well done.
I think the best bit of Sting is like he's like cradling like an unconscious Hogan and like shaking him, going, "Hogan, shake it off.
Shake it off." Yeah, that's the best bit.
Shake it off. Hogan, he's like playing completely dead.
Yeah. And then my final two notes are: this is going on and on and on and on and on. Heenan is extremely upset. On and on and on and on.
Tears. And then we get the end credits.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like how we have credits.
Did you notice the credits for the wrestling operations?
Oh, would that be one Mr. Oh God, I forgot his name. God damn it!
There was a load of names.
There were a load of names. Yes. Sorry.
There
Give
was
me some of the names.
What was it? Jamie. I've written down. Jamie Engel, Bill Dundee, Greg Gagne, Mike Graham, Josh Hamilton, and one Kevin Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
We're down as wrestling operations. I don't know if that means they're bookers or if they're agents for the matches, but the executive producer, senior vice president was Eric Bischoff at the end, as always.
Well,
as always, yes.
I mean, Sullivan appeared 4 times during the show, so it does make sense if he was the booker.
Yeah, and then weirdly, he's like feuding with Hogan. Like we're into the kind of, is it Dungeon of Doom?
Oh Jesus!
Well, it's coming. It's coming. We need it.
It's coming. Dungeon of Doom. Yeah,
95 was Dungeon of Doom.
Shall I tell you? Like, I kind of had a thought about this show that kind of crystallized it for me at some point.
We've been wasting our time for 7 years.
Well, there's that.
Oh.
That's a given. But like,
harsh.
Was it your best spot in the match?
This show, and the kind of the makeup of the people on the show. What it felt like to me, it felt like what if WWF in 1991 just kept going? Does that make sense?
No.
Because it's like you've got Earthquake feuding with Hogan. You've got the Nasty Boys like on the card. You've got Duggan cutting about the place. Who else is on there?
So this is the alternate reality of WWF, yeah.
Yeah, if 1991 like this,
okay,
Flair's in there, like Flair's in there, like
you
if
got the
honky tonk man, like if that kind of like 1991 WWF period just kind of kept going with the same people, like this is where we end up.
But then we wouldn't have such great superstars as the Repo Man. What would happen to the Repo Man?
Well, he turns up in 95 as the Black Hawk Bully or something like that.
There you go.
Oh, you're right. Jesus
and he had a golfing gimmick at one point.
Yes, he did.
Hole in one, Barry Dorslow.
Hole in one, Jesus Christ. Mid-90s WCW sucked.
But yeah, it just felt like it was a show from like WWF from like 3 years prior. It was so weird. And it's like, but with WCW production values.
But that was always like WCW's big problem when they signed Hogan in between 94 and 96 until the NWO. It was always them trying to recreate that late 80s, early 90s WWF.
Yeah, which is where we kind of get like...
That was a big problem.
And Mr. T popping up and all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mr. T popping up and all these sort of like sly references to WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 3.
Well, even when you had NW... Like, when we did what? Which one was it? Was it Halloween Havoc 96? Piper turns up at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just can't get away from trying to invoke that period of wrestling. Even when Hogan's like the NWO bad guy, they still.
That was it. It was always just kind of almost like recent nostalgia for WCW in the late 90s.
Yeah,
and it was always like, oh, you remember these guys? You know, WWF had kind of moved on eventually. It took them a while, but they'd move on with like The Rock and Triple H and Mankind, things like that. But WCW kind of traded a lot on that kind of like older guy coming back in kind of idea, with your Savage and your Hogans and your Pipers, Warrior,
Duggan going over Steve Austin.
Yeah, that you've got kind of a big signifier of it. But I mean, that's arguably what kind of cut WCW late on, sort of 99 times, because all these guys were older, couldn't go, massively injured, and they'd never really brought anyone up from the mid card. No one else was allowed to come up when Hogan was on top.
Yeah.
So ergo, I mean, it kind of underlines the whole thing when WCW just a couple of years before they shut down had the Millionaire Club versus the New Blood, and the New Blood were all the sort of younger wrestlers, and they were put across as heels.
Yeah.
So you didn't want them to win at all.
Well, they did the same in ECW, didn't they? That stupid. That run the WrestleManias, they had ECW originals versus the new guys.
Yeah, but that was just kind of like to sign them off as a kind of like, nostalgia pop on a one match of a WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it was still the heels were played by the new guys who lost. So,
Yeah, it was almost like kind of going, how dare you trample on my memories? kind of thing.
Also, we missed out. I think Hogan totally snubbed Muhammad Ali's handshake at the end of the match. So maybe that's where the rumors started. Yeah,
maybe. Who knows?
But it's a really weird show though. Like I say, because it's like you get so many weird WWF flashbacks because there's so many people on the cards you've seen different gimmicks.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's like it's competent enough. I mean, I'd say probably. Whoa, what was that?
I think
that's Elena trying to text me. Sorry.
Jesus.
It's she wants a Spanish good night.
Oh my goodness.
A Spanish good night.
I was going to deliver a Spanish fly.
Is that like she's had a siesta? Surely she's.
Well, she's wanting the thing before the siesta. You see.
Wanted a chorizo.
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Right, enough of this. Go on with the podcast.
Was anyone like me thinking at the end of this show? Well, how did they bring Ric Flair back?
No, because Ric Flair retired, so therefore, he never wrestled again, Cameron. Isn't that correct?
Nonsense.
Well, please do tell the history of Ric Flair retirements, please.
Well, I've just got very briefly here. I won't go into sort of amazing detail because it does involve shows we might do in the future. But Ric Flair would return at Uncensored 95, and I'm reading this sentence, in drag.
Yes. I've not seen this, but I've heard of this, yes.
They were trying to basically convey that he'd gone slightly mad during his retirement away from wrestling. And obviously, what more to shorthand on television suggests a man has gone mad than to have him cross-dress?
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously.
Thinking of early 90s American television, this makes complete sense.
It makes absolute sense. He attacked Randy Savage in his match against Avalanche, which caused a DQ, which was strange because it was a show based entirely on matches having no rules.
Awesome.
It was nothing on Seth Rollins versus The Fiend this one. Anyway, after this, he got involved with the Vader versus Hogan feud, which prompted Savage and Hogan to lobby the WCW board to reinstate him. The theory being that Flair was better off having been on the inside than having him on the outside. Excuse me.
Sorry, it's sorry. Buenas noches.
There's a joke somewhere about stopping your girlfriend buzzing during my speech here. But I won't go into that.
Cam's monologue's getting interrupted. You can't have this. Don't worry, Cameron. I'll edit it flawlessly. You won't hear a thing.
Oh, of course. Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks.
Flawless. Don't worry about it.
Yes. Do you want me to start that paragraph again?
Oh, yeah, sure. It'll be fine. Don't worry. It'll come flawlessly.
Okay. After this, he got involved in the Vader versus Hogan. After this, he got involved in the Vader versus Hogan feud, but with Savage and Hogan lobbying the WCW board to reinstate him, the theory being that it was better off that Flair was inside rather than outside the company, but they voted against this. Then we get the promos for Be Fair to Flair.
Oh, yes.
Which I have put on the Discord, the one I could find anyway. It is hilarious, and I'm hopeful that for the 4 minutes and 17 seconds it lasts, Phil's going to put that in right about now.
Wow, okay.
Ric Flair the athlete, Ric Flair the philanthropist, Ric Flair the scholar, Ric Flair the kind, Ric Flair the just. It is of his desire to once again express to the fans, board of directors, and wrestlers of WCW that his retirement is permanent and final, and that over the past few months his good name has been wrongfully and unjustly smeared. It is with this in mind that he wishes all parties to be fair to Flair.
I know it's hard to believe, but look who I'm with this week. Before you get too excited, I've got to explain to you. Hulk, don't say anything right now. I asked the Hulkster to be here so that I could talk to him one-on-one. I want everybody out there that's concerned about being fair to Flair to understand why the Hulk and I fell apart.
He's dragging Flair to T. He dropped the leg.
No, please. I'll be good. I'll never do that. One. Forget about the fact that the greatest wrestler of all time had to retire because of you. Forget about the fact that I had to go out and be a common man for the last 6 months. Forget about the fact that Ric Flair, that limousine-riding, jet-flying, kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing son of a gun, had to go back to complacency. Forget about that. You know, Hulk, we've got to go on with life. I've got to... Geez, you know, sometimes I have forgotten how big you are. My gosh, what a man. Whew. Hulkster, oh, brother, no wonder you beat me in Detroit. Hulkster, here's the deal. If you will give Ric Flair the opportunity, and I know that you have a lot to say about this. I know that Bockwinkel and you were friends. Not best friends, but I know you have influence on Bockwinkel. I know the International Committee is in your pocket. Well, not really in your pocket. I know that you have influence. Let's leave it like that. I know, Hulkster, that if you put in a good word, if you say the right thing to the right person at the right time, Ric Flair could be back. And if you will do that for me, if you will allow me to come back to be Ric Flair again, to be that styling, profiling, to be the greatest. Hulk, here's the trade-out. If you, no, wait, I know you have your side of the story. Let's not get to that right now. Let's deal with the issue at hand. Next week, there's a possibility that Ric Flair could be reinstated. Next week, there's a possibility that the Great One could walk that aisle again. Next week, there's a possibility that I could be back at WCW. The company, the franchise, back. Think about it, Hulk. I can't stand it. Now, in turn, I understand you've got to have guidelines. You've got to have things going your way. I understand momentum. You are the Hulkster. There are a legion of Hulkamaniacs behind you. I want to show you that if you're fair to Flair, I can be a Hulkamaniac. I promise never to chop you again. I promise never to chop you. I promise never to kick you in the leg again. I promise. I promise never to put my thumb in your eye, or to pull your hair, or to drop the knee across your face. I promise never to put the figure 4 on you and pull as hard as I can. I promise never to jump over the railing, jump in the ring, and interfere in a match of yours again. I promise.
Oh, Flair's gone nuts!
No, he's lost it. And above all else, Hulkster, I promise to take the vitamins, to say the prayers, and to become a Hulkamaniac. To stand behind you with that legion of support. Hulkster, in other words, I promise that you and I, side by side, may boldly go where no other wrestlers have ever gone before. The Hulkster and the Nature Boy.
Wow. There's a whole 4 minutes in there.
Then apparently the WCW board voted again, and they voted 3-2 to reinstate Ric Flair. Ric Flair's first match televised back in WCW in 1995 was April the 28th. Collision in Korea.
Oh, yes.
Against Antonio Inoki.
Wow.
So it's like it goes from appearing again, in drag, voted back in, North Korea.
Wow.
I mean,
that show's not on the network, I don't believe.
No, I just say here on my research, like, and it's one of the very few WCW shows that's not on the WWE
Is the
network.
match, is it even that main event on the network, or just nothing?
Nope, I don't think
it
is.
It's on there at all.
No, it's not.
It's not on there at all.
It's kind of a controversial one because obviously it's North Korea. I mean, it does hold the all-time attendance record for fans. However, I don't think everyone there was there willingly.
No, 340,000.
Yeah, I think this was more of
down as disputed.
you mean like how they claimed 48,000 at SummerSlam, but really it was only like 40.
Yeah. Well, I say it's in Pyongyang, North Korea.
Yep, good old Glenn Jacobs, you fucking asshole.
It took them like it says here the actual matches were on April the 28th and the 29th, 1995, but it was only aired on August the 4th.
Weird.
Well, what happened in this day?
It took them months, seemingly, to...
Well, I mean...
Smuggle the footage back out of North Korea, I suppose.
Probably. Or at least I don't know.
So Flair retired then. And then his next retirement would that have been the big one against Michaels? Like a proper retirement?
I think officially, yeah.
There was no kind of other kind of career enders in between that point.
I don't know about WCW. Like, I don't know what happened after, but obviously in WWE, that was it, wasn't it? And then he went on that. What was this stipulation if he lost to Mr. McMahon at Royal Rumble 92? Right, 92? Royal Rumble 2002.
Yeah. I was going to say 92.
No, 2002. They had a street fight for the control of WWE, so I don't know if Flair had to leave if he lost that, because obviously Flair won. No, I don't really remember much else. So obviously, I remember in 2002 him coming out and cutting the promo that he had one good run left in him. That's what he said, one good run, and that lasted till 2008.
So that last one lasted until 2022, I'll have you know.
Well, yeah, 2008 in WREF anyway, WWE. And then he did a storyline, didn't he, where it was a career-threatening match. Every match he had was a career-threatening match. I remember him fighting MVP, I think it was, at the Royal Rumble, and beating him. And then he had a few others. And then obviously the one against Michaels was a career-threatening match, but literally everybody knew he was going to lose.
Well, yeah, everyone knew that this was it.
It still doesn't take away from that moment, though.
No, the moment was
magical at the end. The "I'm sorry, man, I love you" is one of like wrestling's most emotive match.
Well, maybe if he loved him, he shouldn't have kicked him in the face.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like the old.
I don't do that.
As a friend, you need to stop now. Sadly, he didn't.
The problem was that's a very iconic moment, and I think Flair coming back out of retirement sort of spoiled that a lot.
Do you reckon?
You don't say.
The whole TNA thing didn't come back out. Well, Mick Foley did as well, didn't he? Like, he ruined his retirement.
Yeah, Foley did it. Sting did it. Well, I mean, Sting
Foley does it like for
Foley?
Like 2 months. Foley
does it the month after, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a knockoff character, isn't it? To go with Flick Rare.
Yeah.
Foley. His tag team
exactly. Foley is it?
Maybe that was his name in North Korea.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
But it's like, there's this kind of real kind of people want to come back for that one last time, and it never really pays off.
Well, no, but he just can't help it because I think he just can't stand being at the spotlight. He needs to be in it at all times, and if that's wagging his penis on a flight or nearly dying in the ring or just being on TV somewhere,
it's kind of like he just needs the money because he's put himself in the position where he needs the money.
He's got too many divorces.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Sting doesn't need the money, so he can pick and choose when he wants to do it. Taker's the same. He doesn't need to come back. Please, God, let Taker just not come back. Let him just stay home.
I think he's probably ruined it enough now with what he said and the fact that, I don't know.
I think the Boneyard, leaving it on the Boneyard match is fine because the way it ended...
Yeah.
Sorry, just to rewind. I haven't been up on stuff. What's Taker said?
He said he's been saying that a lot of the WWE products soft now, that they don't know how to work. Back in my day, it was better, blah, blah, blah.
When we had steroids and guns in our bags.
In Giant Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yeah. Yeah, and then he did his Hall of Fame speech, obviously, and went, never say never. And I was like, no, please don't.
Yeah. As we alluded to, we're recording this just under a week out from Ric Flair's last match.
Yep, where
he passed out in a figure four leg lock because he was so knackered by the end of the match.
Yeah, and then pins in inverted commas Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett just kind of lying on the mat for him.
There's an amazing clip afterwards where Andrade comes over to check on him, and you can actually see Flair mouth, "I passed out."
It's like it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening.
No. It shouldn't. This match is an anomaly because it should never have happened.
I didn't like the monetary thing behind it as well because, unless I'm wrong, wasn't there a stupid charge to have it or something?
You could pay up to like $200 for it or something stupid like that.
I read that somewhere, yeah.
That was because you were going to get a bit of the ring, you were going to get like other stuff, where I think the actual pay-per-view itself was like $35.
I can't remember how much it was now because it was on the Fight TV app. I remember seeing it at the top.
Yeah, it was on Fight.
To see what it was. But yeah, it's like there was clearly like a financial thing behind it for him.
It's a cash grab. It was a match. I mean, it's kind of like what they're doing with WWE are doing with Clash at the Castle. They're charging absolutely ridiculous prices For a show that's going to suck.
It seems just to be a glorified house show, doesn't it?
It is. It's a glorified house show.
I mean, now Reigns isn't even champion, so it's not like the Drew McIntyre match is a title match.
No, unless for some bizarre reason between now and then. I don't think there's a pay-per-view before then, is there? Or a premium live event, I should say.
Sure.
Reigns is the champion, isn't he?
I thought Lesnar won it.
No, Reigns was the champion.
Oh, sorry, I thought Lesnar won it in SummerSlam.
No.
I didn't watch SummerSlam, but Lesnar looked like he was celebrating with a belt at the end, so I was confused.
Well,
no, he was underneath like tables and all sorts after he used the tractor to move the ring out of the way.
That's the bit I saw. Yes.
How pissed off would you have been if you were sat on the side that was blocked? You bought ringside tickets to the stadium show and you couldn't see anything.
Telling Aldo is like going, wouldn't you have had it? You know when like Austin Theory cashed in or tried to cash in?
Yeah.
They ended up doing that pathetic thing of going, oh no, they didn't hand the briefcase, the referee doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
But wouldn't it have been better if they'd have had him cash in, right? And he tries to pin Roman Reigns in the ring. Yeah. And just as he's about to count to 3, the ring gets lifted up by the tractor. It would have been, and then they both roll out.
I'm not sure if Lesnar could have got the timing right because he's talking about 3 goes.
Yeah, the timing would have been a nightmare, but it would have looked exceptionally cool.
But, I mean, I watched the main event. I thought it was pretty good. Like for what it was, like Reigns versus Lesnar, which we've seen like about 3 or 4 times before. But like it was like the way they escalated it was like an absolute hoot, And Happy Cowboy Brock Lesnar, I didn't realize I needed that in my life. He just comes down to the ring, smile. Like when he lifts up the ring in the tractor, he looks so happy. Like he was like, really, I'm getting paid for this kind of look on his face. It was brilliant.
I think they do it for that kind of like sort of gifable moment, probably. But
unfortunately, he didn't drop the ring on Ric Flair and defeat him in his last match.
No,
which would have been
gravity took care of that.
Where does this go in the league table?
Well, that's the question.
Shall I confirm where the Halloween Havocs are? We've done one Halloween Havoc, haven't we? I think.
I'm not sure.
We've done Halloween Havoc 96.
Mm-hmm. Right, Halloween Havoc 96.
Which, if I'm looking at the right one up to date, is currently 26 on the table.
That is not the most up to date one.
That's not the most up to date
one. I've got here is 35.
35. So it's right down the bottom of the table.
It is above World War III, and it is below. No, it's above World War III, and it's below Starrcade 1990, the Wrestling World Cup. No, sorry, it's Starrcade 83. Sorry,
Flair for the Gold.
Sorry.
So we're kind of in the WCW ghetto down the end of the table.
WCW ghetto. Wow.
I mean, it's accurate. Let's be fair.
And I mean, I'm not sure if it needs to go. The lowest WWF show is the Wrestling Classic.
Oh, that was better than this, I felt.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we've got Starrcade 92.
I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's below the 96 Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's not as good as Flair for the Gold because that's got the. Is it? Who's in the main event? It's Race and Flair in the cage.
Yeah, Race and Flair in the cage. Yeah.
So nothing on this card is better than that. So yeah,
it's also the Starrcade. The first Starrcade also has the Piper versus Valentine dog collar match.
That's true. Yeah. Why is that so low then?
I don't know. Well, we all just feeling that at the time. I'm not sure.
And then Halloween Havoc 96. What's on that card? That's the. Yeah. So is it Hogan Macho in the main event? Isn't it? I think if I remember right.
We should really think about how where it's going to go before we actually start recording.
Nah.
It's more fun this way.
Oh, I agree. More fun this way.
Halloween Havoc 96, yeah?
Yeah. So all I really remember is the main event. I don't remember the rest of the card, which says something about it, I think.
It's not positive anyway.
Your main event was... Yeah, Hollywood Hogan defeated Randy Savage.
Oof.
It was the Outsiders versus Harlem Heat. Steve McMichael and Chris Benoit versus Meng and the Barbarian. Jesus. Luger versus Arn Anderson. Six versus Jericho. Giant versus Jeff Jarrett. Diamond Dallas Page against Eddie Guerrero. And your opening match of the broadcast was Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, it's worse than that, Carl.
Yeah, because I remember that opening match being a banger.
Yeah.
Malenko.
Now you look at that, you're like, yep. That was going to be an absolute...
Is it better than World War III?
Yes, because it's got one ring.
Correct. So it's number 35.
There we go.
It's gonna be it's gonna be the 36th best pay-per-view ever.
And joins the WCW dustbin at the bottom of the table.
Oh, bless.
You know what's funny? The very first show we ever reviewed is still holding the fort at number 1.
That's because we do trash like this every week.
Excuse me, Al, you picked this trash, remember?
I did. That is true, but yeah.
Next month is a very special show. Next month, we turn 50.
We do. It's only taken us 8 years, but...
Taken us way longer than it probably should have done, but never mind.
Well, you know. And I think we were discussing this during the week, and I think we've come up with a very entertaining idea.
We have, if we can make it come off.
If we can make it so. We are going to do, for the 50th episode, all 4 of us are going to watch the epic known as No Holds Barred.
Oh, yes. The Hogan attempt at a Rocky movie. After being in Rocky 3?
Yes.
Yeah, he was in Rocky. No, Rocky 2.
Yeah, did Rocky 3 come before?
Rocky 3, yeah. No, you are right, yeah.
Rocky 3 was 1982.
There we go.
Right, there you go then.
Oh.
Got him sacked, didn't it? Got him sacked from the WWF.
So yes.
Stunning work there from Vince McMahon Senior.
Do you know I've never watched No Holds Barred? I've never seen that.
I have watched No Holds Barred.
I believe I had a pirate copy of it on VHS not long after release because my uncle was a manager of a video shop, so we had a lot of pirate copies.
So he pirated his own stock. I like it.
Yeah. Well, we're a family. What are you going to do? That's how I had the entirety of the Teen Wolf cartoon series on VHS, which was really good.
Nice.
Little tip there for you. But yeah, so No Holds Barred, Zeus, some guy saying duty, all of it. We need to figure out how we're going to watch it because it is not available on any service anywhere.
We'll find it. We'll find a way.
Christopher Lloyd. No, wait, that's Suburban Commander.
Suburban Commander. And of course, who owns it on Blu-ray?
Who do you think?
I'm going to say
I can't help it if I
Which means we're all going to pile around to Alan's house and
order a pizza.
Yes, order a pizza
6 years for it to turn up
from the Warwick, and then we can...
some ham and pineapple.
Oh yes, unless Domino's are doing any special offers that night.
Oh, there you go.
That's very cigarettes
and watch.
And after next month, so we're going to be going into what will be November?
Probably.
We return time. Usually it should be October, but probably November.
Oh my God, I get the pick in December.
You do.
We do.
Oh, I've got a Christmas present for you all.
You know, I know exactly what you're thinking. I can read your bloody mind, and I know it's going to be.
I think it's going to be from 2006. I've got this.
December, isn't it?
You're just going to have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see.
Never mind. Anyway, yes. It would make sense, obviously, for 51 then to be SummerSlam 89, was it?
Yes.
Well, the Joe's Arena.
It's not that but wouldn't it be really funny if No Holds Barred was filmed in Detroit?
Where was it filmed? Hang on.
We didn't know. Hold on.
Save that gold for the next show.
It'll be filmed in like Canada for tax reasons.
It's bloody Toronto, yeah.
Everything around about that time was filled. No Holds Barred.
No. There were 3 locations. It was filmed in Topeka, Kansas, Atlanta, Georgia, and the USA.
Just the USA, yeah.
That's very, very...
Just in the USA.
Yep.
Wow. So yeah, we're going to do a little live watch along.
Yep.
So in preparation, if you can get hold of a copy of No Holds Barred, then you can just press play at the same time as us.
Listen along with us.
And for like an hour and a half or whatever it is, however long.
Zeus.
It's going to feel like months. It's going to feel like literal months.
Yep.
It's 93 minutes long, so it's probably actually going to be shorter than this episode.
I mean, is it going to be... It'll definitely feel a lot shorter than some stuff we've watched in the past.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that is true.
Well, it's shorter than the pay-per-view we just watched.
That's true.
Oh my God! I'm just looking at the filmography of Thomas J. Wright, who's the director of No Holds Barred.
Oh, I bet he's done some classics.
It's a word for it.
That's his only film.
Wow.
I think. Well, look at it. He directed a couple of episodes of The X-Files. After that, he directed a couple of episodes of Firefly. Supernatural in 2005.
Just 9 episodes of One Tree Hill.
He last did Castle in 2016.
It's quite telling that on the Wikipedia page for the film, like the writer and the producer like haven't got a Wikipedia page.
No,
they're just like regular text, and that's it.
Yeah.
My guess is those were pseudonyms. Music by Jim Johnston. Who he?
I have no idea.
Wait, it says like, just reading the description of the film, it says Rip Thomas is the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. So is the WWF actually in the film then? I can't remember that at all.
He has a wrestling match at the start.
Yep.
Hogan's not Hulk Hogan in it. He's Rip Rogers, isn't he?
Rip Thomas.
Yeah.
Tip Romas.
He starts off by having a wrestling match, yeah.
Yeah, it's like flipping, what is it, London Red or whatever from Pro Evo.
Yeah, exactly.
London Red. So yes, next month, episode 50, we are watching No Holds Barred.
Bring your popcorn.
Yeah, bring your popcorn, bring your tissues, it'll be emotional.
Film critic Brian Orndorff described the film as tremendously crude, unapologetically manipulative, and aimed directly at easily entertain 13-year-old boys. He can be described with this podcast.
No. We're a mature podcast because we don't want to get arrested and put on lists.
I'm going to put that into the flipping description of the show. That's brilliant. And the fact the guy's called Brian Orndorff as well, who was the film critic.
I think he was related to Paul, I think he was.
Clearly.
He was upset Paul wasn't asked to be in the movie. Yeah, he is a wrestler.
There's so many bad films Hogan's been in.
Like what? Three Ninjas High Noon?
Santa with Muscles?
There's something else I'm going to have to find as well. I might cut this out thing. I'm going to try and find, I might see if we can find it. But there's No Hold Barred, the match / the movie.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure,
we need to watch. We should really watch the match as well.
The program consisted of the film in its entirety, followed by a match previously recorded at a wrestling challenge taping. It's currently one of the few WWE pay-per-views not yet available on the WWE network.
That's a half truth. The match is on the network.
Oh.
Yes, the film's not on the network.
So the actual
match is on the network. I think we should I think we should watch it's only 10 minutes long. I think we should watch it after the match because the idea was the match in the movie. So I think we should watch the match after the movie.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's a Steel Cage rematch from SummerSlam.
Way.
Nice.
It's on, if you want to find it on the network, I think it's Super Tape 1 it's on. In fact, I'll go find it for you now.
Super Tapes. Of course it's on Super Tape.
In fact, Ewan, you might want to watch that Super Tape a bit more closer as well.
Oh?
Because as well as having that match on, it's got a special profile on the Bushwhackers.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Zero down out. Well, I think
Bye. That'll do.
Goodbye. We are the worst.
She was not a video. We could just have like WCW style credits rolling down.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
You should have done that. You're right, because it doesn't work on that audio. But yeah, it's just
It's like audio credits.
Loads of rolls down, but only our four names get mentioned in all these rolls.
I'm going to give you one last treat. Everybody out there, 10 reasons why WCW should be fair to Ric Flair. Number 10, the figure 4 leg lock. I made it a household name. Number 9, without me, everyone thinks Alex Wright can dance. Can you imagine that, Magenta? Number 8, I'm living up to my end of the bargain. I haven't wrestled since October. Number 7, because I just might buy the company and fire everyone. Number 6, I'm still in everyone's mind. Just listen to Hogan and Savage. Number 5, women are going crazy. Look what happened to Savage at Uncensored. A half-crazed woman came out of the stands and beat him up. Number 4, if I'm not in WCW. What are they going to do? Close down Space Mountain? Number 3, the whole world's going through Flair withdrawal. Number 2, I'm a kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, limousine-riding, jet-flying son of a gun. And the number 1 reason WCW should be fair to Flair is, woo!
Mr. Fibbles is very hungry.
You trout slapper.
I don't know, Phil. I'm not an expert in Spanish science.
And who's going to get the band blaster? Who cares?
Gangrel killed Jeffrey the Giraffe.